Hello, you amazing friends. This is your pal Edwards here speaking with amazing Sharada and Tony Neale. How you doing, Sharada and Tony? What's going on?
Oh, we're pretty busy. We've got lots of things on the go at the moment. We've got our cabin project going, so we want to get some more affordable accommodation so we can invite more people here to enjoy our EE system.
Oh, very nice. And Sharada?
Well, I think for me, it's really a lot of fun because we are finding like new people coming with curiosity and wanting to live a happier, healthier life. So, and they're coming to us to see if we can support them. So that's very, very exciting.
Oh, there you go. And and we're going to talk a little about your well-being. So if you just come in, like, share, comment, connect with Sharada and Tony Neale. And just so you know, it's late at night. It's 8 o'clock at night in Sydney right now. And I was going to get a drink, and I felt like getting a can of Coca-Cola, but I thought it was rather offensive to you two, sitting here drinking a can of Coca-Cola. So instead, I got a bottle of kombucha. Does this pass your necessary health parameters? Am I allowed to drink this in front of you?
Well, congratulations, because it's your well-being at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So you've made a wise choice.
That's
a very wise choice.
Yeah, I thought me sitting here and cracking a can of Coke Zero in front of you two probably doesn't reek of integrity or consistency. So here we are. Cheers to you guys and cheers to the internet. So can't even open. There we go. There we go. So cheers, everyone. Cheers. Hey, just come in like. Oh, sorry, Tony, go for it.
When you think about it, well-being's the most important thing for you, and well-being is in all spheres. You know, it's not only just health, but it's in your finance, your personal life, everything. If you and that's something that we've really got to focus on. And we find that with a lot of our clients, their own well-being is not their number one priority. they put other people and other, like their family and their jobs and everything else in front of it, and then their own personal well-being is right down the bottom.
Yeah. And I'll put myself on the chopping block for this one. I'm now happy to talk about it because I conquered it. But as you know, and we've spoken about this before, as during the lockdowns, I developed a really bad eating disorder. I really developed binge eating disorder. I put on like 20 kilos in a year. It was absolutely nuts. And it was funny. It was exactly that. I did exactly what you said. I put everything else above me, and my own welfare went at the bottom. And I was sick after a year or two of doing that. So I did the same thing only recently. And now I'm going to ask you straight up. I'm an intelligent man. Why did I do something so stupid? Sharada, I want Sharada to answer first. I'm an intelligent man. Why did I do something so stupid? Is it because I'm not intelligent? Why is that, Sharada?
Well, mostly it's because we are not vigilant, and we allow our habitual patterns to run our lives instead of we being conscious and being aware of what we are actually doing. We kind of like, it's almost like we do things mindlessly. So therefore we reach for food without thinking about actually being hungry or wanting to eat. We're just doing it mindlessly. So, when we feel kind of like bored or we feel whatever, so the hand reaches out to the food because food actually comforts us. So when we're not feeling good in ourselves, food is a great something that peps us up. And so it's really not being mindful, I think, rather than having anything to do with being smart or not smart. It's just not being mindful.
Oof. Oh, well said, Tony. Was I completely dumb? What's your explanation for my pathetic and appalling behaviour?
Well, I just think it's all to do with what Sharada was saying. It's a comfort thing. You might have been suffering a little bit of anxiety of being locked down, or you might have been suffering a little bit of, even feeling a bit flat and down, and you thought, well, maybe I need to do something to spark myself up. So that's when you go to the fridge and you reach for your can of Coke. and you say, "Oh yeah, the Coke will give me a little bit of a boost. That's exactly what I need," and it's a bit of a comfort thing. So
Yeah.
it's just about being mindful and say, well, if I do drink this can of Coke, what's it really doing to my body? What am I
Yeah.
putting into my system? I'm putting in heaps of sugar. I'm putting in blah, 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 and all these chemicals in my body. Is that going to really help me? So
Yeah.
that's the thing. Be mindful of your well-being. And you might just say, well, let's have a look at another thing. I'm feeling, a little bit, I've got some anxiety, or I'm feeling a bit flat. Think of yourself, what would be a nurturing thing for me to do? Oh, maybe I can just go for a bit of a walk,
Yep.
or do something that I love doing. Maybe I do some reading, or do something that excites me, that I'm building something, or doing something that builds up that bit of enthusiasm. So
Yeah.
it's noticing it and looking at the triggers that cause that problem, and instead of doing that old routine, create a new one, because you've got the power and ability. You always have had that power and ability to be able to do those things that you want to do.
Yeah.
And also, the other thing that I think a lot of times we kind of like we weren't taught when we're young, that is, we are 100% responsible for our inner state of
Correct.
being. And so it's like when we're feeling flat and when we're feeling down, we haven't been taught that there is a simple way of shifting that. And that is by consciously creating joy instead of reaching for external stimulus. We actually can close our eyes and use our imagination, go back into our memory banks and find a memory of an event that brought us so much joy. And the interesting thing is, when we consciously do that, when we regurgitate an old memory that brought us a lot of joy, we can actually entertain that. And when we entertain that, our cells are actually creating more joy. And in a short while, before you know it, you're feeling better and you don't have to reach for an external stimulus. So we are born with great capacity. We've got immense imagination, and we haven't been taught how to make use of it.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So,
And it's funny you say that. I did this exercise some time ago, and Tony and I, we had a chat about this maybe a year or two ago. And one thing that I've really noticed, and I'll use food as an obvious example, right? Food's a big problem for a lot of people, especially was for me. And I'll give you an example. So I live about 800 meters away from the shops, right? So we live down the road, literally 800 meters, very, very short walk to the shops where I'm at now, right? And interestingly, I actually did a count of from the door of my house to the actual supermarket, how many items of junk food or junk food ads do I see on the way, right? So I actually just did a count.
Yeah.
So literally 800 meters from just the door into Woolworths. So literally it's from a door walking into Woolworths. Guess how many bits of junk food I counted in just that short bit of walk?
10.
Over 60.
Wow, 60?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll give you an example. It was sort of like I walked past a bakery. I saw all these cakes. I saw this gelati. I saw this machine full of gumball lollies. I saw a vending machine. And what it basically was is it just goes on and on and on. When I actually stopped and paid attention, just in my 800-meter path to get to Woolworths, I was
yeah.
accosted by so much junk food. And I thought, man, it's a bit like the establishment doesn't want us to get healthy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I can't help thinking there's a bit of conspiracy. What's your reaction on that one? Have I been watching too many UFO videos, or do you think I'm onto something, Sharada and Tony?
Ed, I think you've hit the nail on the head. At the end of the day, with all the junk food, who benefits the most out of it?
Yep. There you go. Companies, big business.
Those companies that create all the junk food,
Yep.
and they've got very slick, as you mentioned before, advertising campaigns and things like that. The thing that we've got is our minds, and
Yeah.
the thing is to remember that God gave us our mind
Yeah.
for a purpose, and that's to be discerning so that we could actually make the right decisions at the right time. And to have these traits like self-discipline, knowing that what we really want to do, the purpose of most people is their well-being, to be a well-being. In other words, to be healthy, to be prosperous, all these things, to have a happy family life and things like that. All these things are what I put under the umbrella of well-being.
And you know, Ed, the other thing that, you know, people kind of like forget, it's like, you know, I'm smiling because I remember Sadhguru, you know, that we have a great admiration for, this Indian mystic. He said, listen, because he was giving a talk at a university, you know, for I think it was engineers and you know, medical students and things like that. And at this point, the hype of it is, you know, marijuana. They want it to be legalized, and so they said, oh, Sadhguru, you know the prime minister, you know the health minister, can you get them to legalize these drugs? And Sadhguru said, look, he said, you go to the university. What do you want? Do you want to have clarity of mind? Or he said, there is this is kind of like false thinking. He said, people say you drink alcohol because you want to be high, and you take drugs because you want to be high. He said, that's misleading and lying. He said, because when you take alcohol, you are not high, you're dumb.
Yeah,
You know?
down.
And yeah, you're down. And the same thing when you take drugs, you lose your clarity. And he said, why would I want to encourage the government to make the youths of this country dumb?
Yeah. It's funny. I'm going to get political all of a sudden. The whole legalization of marijuana issue, right? I've changed my viewpoint on that one. You know, our friend Nicole. Oh, you know Nicole Yates, our wonderful friend from Brisbane. Yeah. So Nicole Yates, she's a brain health expert, like a certified brain health expert. She put up this image on LinkedIn this morning, and it had scans of the brain, basically under the influence of drugs. Like they had the bit that got me was they had like the cocaine, the crack, the meth, all the crazy stuff, right? What was interesting, they had marijuana. And interestingly, a lot of people run around making out that marijuana is just like natural and awesome, but it actually has very severe side effects on the brain. It's actually, a lot of people try and make up marijuana doesn't do any damage, and that's just not true. I think it's been grossly misrepresented. I know this is a bit of a political issue, but I'm now against the legalization of marijuana after seeing this stuff that I've seen. I think they've been very misleading on the science of it. What's your take on this one?
Definitely, because it's like just from a practical perspective, like you know, it's like when you are going to fly on an aeroplane. Now, if your pilot comes being high on something, would you be happy to go sit in the plane while this high person flies the plane? No.
Yeah.
Okay. And the same thing, like if you're going to have surgery, would you be happy if your surgeon walks into your room and is high on something? No. So then why do we want to subject our beautiful brain to such trauma?
Yes.
Love
just
it.
for the sake of being high. You know, the better description is, if you want to be dull, go ahead and do those things instead of being high.
Love it.
So that's
I love it. Now, I want to ask you too about your Wellbeing Centre. Now, and just so you know, to our friends across the world, like, share, comment, connect with Shara and Tony Neale. They're based in Tasmania. So for those around the world, Tasmania is that little island off the bottom of Australia. It's where Tassie Devil's from. You know Tassie Devil, the big whirlwind, like, that guy, right? I just want to ask you guys, tell us all about your Wellbeing Centre and Retreat. Love to hear all about it.
Well, with the EE system, we're the only one in Tasmania. And we've been open since September. And before that, for a couple of months, we were in pilot mode.
And what is that? Is that an energy? Tell us about the energy system, the EE system.
The energy enhancement system is a bioscalar system. And what it actually does, it energizes your cells. And when your cells are energized, they function better, and your immune system works better. It helps detox you, and a number of other good things that it does for you. Did you want to add any more to that?
Yeah, well, the energy enhancement system, it's amazing technology. It's been around for many, many years, but it's only just recently that it has been brought out to the world because the inventor, Dr. Sandra Rose Michael, she did an interview with Jason Shuker, and he brought this information out to the world so that people are more aware that, in our modern day living where we are in a toxic soup, like, it's like, the water is no longer pure, the air is no
Yeah.
longer pure, the food is
It's got a lot of
Yeah.
all
chemicals in it.
sorts of things, and the our Wi-Fi, the radiation around us, all of those things, and we are in the midst of it all. And so, we've got a, if you look at our planet seriously, the herbs and all those things that are natural there, they all support our well-being. And so now we've got so much of these really unnatural things that is creating chaos in our environment.
Mm.
And so having this energy enhancement system that uses scalar waves, it actually transforms the chaos around us into coherence so that our cells, our bodies can function much, much better.
Yep.
And and the other thing too, it's like when we see, people don't realize this, but having this constant noise around us, and everything is so noisy, so busy around us. Unless we make the time to close our eyes, we are forever being pulled. And as even though like I'm looking at you and I see you, but all the things around you is actually distracting.
That's right.
And we're using so much of our energy. So our cells are using up energy just to process all these external stimulus.
And just to add on to what Sharad is saying, it's really the stress. And there's all these different stressors. What Sharad mentioned is there's air pollution, there's water pollution, and there's stress, but how with relationships and things like that. That's the thing. Like we're always in stress mode all the time. And this is one of the things that the EE system helps you, because it's like a calming situation. And I would recommend that everyone should try and get that bit of calmness, because that calmness is when your immune system kicks in. When you're under stress, that's when you get disease. That's when things go wrong with your body. Stress is the real killer, if you like. It's what we need to be able to do is have the platforms and the strategies and the tools to be able to deal with stress. And this is what we do. We've got the EE system, which is like a very calming sort of environment. You come here, it helps energize your cells, it helps your cells detox, and it also calms your body down. So that's one of the things. When your body is calm, that's when it's at its best. That's when it can help cure diseases and things like that. So that, to me, is one of the most important things. But the other thing too is with our health retreats and coaching, we also help people's mindsets, because it's the mindset that's the thing that we need to develop. The mindset of well-being, the mindset of self-discipline, the mindset of being mindful. All these things are the things which will serve you in your life. You want to, recognize the habits that are not serving you and do something to turn it around, to flip it around, because you've got the power and ability always to do that.
Also, I think one of the greatest information I think that's very helpful to well-being is our feelings, because there's so much emphasis now. Oh, you must allow yourself to feel. So if you're feeling miserable, well, entertain your misery. 5 days, 10 days, 1 month, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years. Just, if you're feeling miserable, well, just feel it. But the
Yeah.
secret to this is that
Yeah.
how long do you want to deplete your energy? How long do you want to? Because as we all know, when we're feeling miserable, we have no energy and there is no enthusiasm for life. All of that. So what is life when you choose? When you choose to entertain that,
That's right.
when you have the capacity and the power to say, okay, I've been miserable for 1 week. That's enough. I think I'm going to change it. I don't want to entertain misery in my inner state anymore. I want to feel joy. And we can actually do that.
Oh,
Yes.
that's why I love you guys. And I just want to say a big thank you. And friends around the world, connect with Sharada and Tony Neale. We love you. Smash that like, share, and comment. Now, Sharon and Tony, we have spent an amazing 21 minutes together. I'm totally inspired. I'd love to hear from you some closing thoughts. Please give us we'll start with Sharada, then Tony. Love to hear some closing thoughts from you to keep our viewers thinking. And also to as well just mention how people can get into contact with you to take the next steps on their wellbeing journey. So Sharada, over to you, then Tony.
Well, we have got our beautiful testgracesanctuary.org on that website. We have got wonderful information on how to contact us and what are the benefits that is available when you choose to come and join us here in Tasmania. Apart from the most glorious landscapes here and bushwalks, it's just stunning. So my closing point would be, we are born with a capacity to be 100% responsible for our inner state. So do we want to choose misery or do we want to choose joy? And we actually have that capacity to choose. And so what I say is, choose wisely and keep yourselves happy, joyful, content, and peaceful. You can do it if you want to.
Oh, you are a smart and brilliant lady. Tony, what are you thinking, Tony?
Well, I can't add too much more to what Sharada said. I think she said most of it.
Brilliant.
From my point of view, I think the word well-being is the most important thing for us human beings to have. Our well-being is our responsibility, our choice. We've got the power to decide on our well-being. And I look at it that our well-being is something that we need to work on each and every day. We need to look at what we're thinking, how we're behaving, and what our habits are. And change the undesirable ones and flip them around to make it nurturing to you. Like with your eating habits. If you want to drink Coke, change it. Change it to Kabuko or something that's really nice. Just what you've been doing, Ed. You're inspirational, right?
That's
If we
right.
can do
That's
that.
right.
And the other thing too is your mindset. Your mindset is everything. If you sort of get depressed and you're in a very fearful sort of state, you've always got the power and ability to change it. God gave you this ability to change whatever thought that you want. You can flip it around. But not only that, you can also change how you feel by thinking of something that gives you joy or something that inspires you. You always got that ability to be able to do. But the thing is to practice. And that's the secret. It's practice, 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 practice. Just like Roger Federer. How many balls do you reckon he hit to perfect his forehand? There would have been thousands of balls to do that. We've got to do the same. And we've got to do it each and every day. And that's the self-discipline bit. So that's my closing remark. Look after yourself. Look after your family. Think about well-being for everything, not only yourself, but also for the planet. And help everybody around as much as you can. But you can only help somebody, but as long as you are in a space to be able to do that. So make yourself strong.
And happy.
And happy. That's the
and
other thing.
healthy.
And healthy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And wise.
And wise.
Yeah, and get into LinkedIn. LinkedIn's awesome. Like I say, seriously, Sharon and Tony, thank you so much. I love your inspirational vibes, and friends around the world, please connect them. Sharon and Tony, thank you for spending your evening with us. We across the world appreciate you winners big time.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Ed. Really
you.
appreciate you and your community for what you do to uplift the world. I think you do a lot of really good job, a lot of good work, and you really help a lot of people. And I know offline that you go out of your way to help individuals and that. So thank you very much, Ed, for all the work that you do.
Thank you, Ed. And thank you, everybody, for joining us as well.
Thank you, everyone. Love your work. All stay awesome. Talk to you later, friends. Bye.
Bye.